Hey everybody, it's Alan Brochstein from Houston, and I'm here today to check in on the cannabis market, which is one of my favorite things. Uh, it's going well, and I'm not so sure that's going to continue at the same pace, at least, as it's been. The global cannabis stock index is, which I'll talk about in a few moments, is up 14% year to date. That's pretty good. That's better than the S&P 500. I'll talk more about that later. This week, we had big legislation. No, I'm just kidding. It won't pass. But there's a representative who introduced a bill to reschedule cannabis from Schedule 1, which is ridiculous, to Schedule 3, which would do away with 280E and maybe bring in the FDA to regulate it. So I'm not sure that this is going to go anywhere. It would be great to get rid of 280E if that were to happen, but it would not be great to have the FDA regulate the industry. We also saw something that I didn't publish at New Cannabis Ventures yet, but we saw adult use sales in Illinois pick up 11%. I'm sorry, pick up 9% from a year ago, which is a little bit better than it's been, but they fell 11% from December in January. And so that state is a big state. It's maturing, and it's not looking that great right now, but there are a lot of dispensaries coming on. They were delayed. So I wrote this week a great piece. If you didn't see it, it's linked in the article that I published that's the basis of this video, as well as in the summary of the video. But it was called Village Farms is Deep Value. And I had it in my on my focus list, and it's on my focus list. I had it in my model portfolio, but I trimmed it. Whether I was lucky or smart, I don't know, but it was a little bit over the weight in the index. And I liked it a lot because it was trading below tangible value, but I'd cut it. And the stock plunged more than a week ago when they priced an equity offering that really perturbed a lot of people. Me, I got excited. I tripled my position. And then I wrote this piece in Seeking Alpha. And I actually, after that piece was published, I paid an even higher price, but a really low price in my opinion, 101. That was higher than it had closed on Friday when the closing price I used for the piece. So I paid up to add yet more. Now I did trim in my model portfolio at 117 and 123, and it went out I think at 116. So you can read that piece. It's just very basic. In my opinion, Village Farms, just the cannabis, is worth more than the entire company is valued at right now. All right, I did share some news this week on 6 names that are on my focus list. Columbia Care opened another Virginia dispensary. Green Lane announced a partnership in Mexico that will bring its Green Lane brands products into the country. Planet 13 announced that Snoop Dogg is doing an event today live at its superstore in Nevada. Scott's Miracle-Gro had earnings and the stock shot up. The cannabis part was really bad news, if you ask me. It forced them to lower their outlook for their fiscal year ending in September. Trulieve announced in 2 separate press releases, kind of annoying that they did that, that they have new products in Massachusetts and in West Virginia. Woo, West Virginia. Well, you may be from West Virginia. I don't mean to make fun of your state, but it is tiny. And TerrAscend announced that they closed a $10 million acquisition, which was a little bit lower than the original price, of a Maryland dispensary. And that deal was announced last April. And so this gets them, they were already in the state, but this gets them a little bit deeper. And so that was really it. The overall market this week was very strong. The global cannabis stock index rose 6.6%, way more than the S&P 500, which was up 1.6%. And the index year to date is up 14.1%, almost double what the S&P 500 is up, 7.7. And I have some model portfolios. One is very similar to two that I ran at Benzinga when I was there. It's called Beat the Global Cannabis Stock Index model portfolio. It's kind of obvious. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to beat the Global Cannabis Stock Index. Okay. Am I? Yes. Way. It's up. It was up 10.5% last week, and it's up 29.7% year to date. That's a little bit ahead of the 14.1%. And if you want to know why, I'm happy to explain. Just ask me in the questions on this YouTube. I can tell you exactly why. Ballpark, I've picked some stocks that have gone up a lot, and I've trimmed a lot or sold some of them, and I've avoided stocks that have gone down a lot. Not all my stocks are up a lot. Some are down a little, but I've avoided the tier 1 MSOs. I also have another model portfolio that's kind of new. And so I want to say, I don't have anything against the idea of MSOS. What I don't like, and I don't want anybody to think that I'm just hard on about criticizing them all the time, but I have some very negative views on the way they're running that fund that I've expressed multiple times at Seeking Alpha and in the new Cannabis Ventures weekly newsletter. But I'm not for that fund to go down, and I'm not trying to cause problems. I'm just trying to do what I always do, which is to warn investors about problems I see. And the problem is very simple. They have now 78% in the top 5 names, which I think is a bad idea, period. Anybody that wants to do that fund can just copy it by buying those 5 names in the sizes they want. Not that I would do that, but B, more importantly, right now is really not a good time, in my opinion, to buy the 5 largest MSOs. There are better opportunities. If you look at my Global Cannabis Stock Index, I own 1 tier 1, Verano, and I don't own 4 others. I own 3 or 4? 3 right now. I sold 1. 3 tier 2s. And so I think there are better ideas in MSOs. I also have thought that there are better ideas in ancillary and in certain Canadian LPs. Now, I have a new model portfolio called Beat the American Cannabis Operator Index, which has a goal also of beating MSOS. And I don't think that's very hard, by the way. And MSOS doesn't have an index. Should it beat the American Cannabis Operator Index? They might say, well, we don't want to try to beat an index with CBD in it. And the truth of the matter is, there were 2 CBD names in January. Right now, there are 0. And it's 12 names. And they're mainly tier 1 and tier 2. Now, MSOS doesn't own AAWH, which I do own in that, not in... No, I don't own 2 tier 2s and beat the Global Cannabis Stock Index. I sold AAWH this week. And AAWH isn't in MSOS. But anyway, that model portfolio was up 7.9% this week, and it's up 10.7% year to date. Is that better than the American Cannabis Operator Index? Yes. That's up 7.9%. Is it better than MSOS? Yes. That's down 0.4%. My model portfolio up more than 10%. MSOS down. Is that always going to be the case? No, I'm sure MSOS will do well at some point in the future, but I've been very loud and very correct about being careful with it right now. Hopefully, the people that run that will figure out that it's not the best idea to ever have 80% of your portfolio in 5 names, which they do right now. Okay, so I want to conclude this piece with the calendar for this week. It's very important, in my opinion. We have 3 Canadian LPs. One of them, it doesn't really matter. Leafy is reporting on Wednesday. I don't think it matters. I don't really care. But the 2 that are important are on Thursday. Both Canopy Growth and Aurora are reporting. Now, I have written negatively on Seeking Alpha about Canopy Growth. My target is more than 50% below the current price. I really believe that that's going to be the case. How am I going to be wrong? If the NASDAQ lets them close their deals to intra-United States cannabis companies and to retain their NASDAQ listing, I will be wrong. But I don't think it's going to go up a lot. I think if I'm wrong about that deal closing, then I think the 5 largest MSOs, as well as some others, will all copy Canopy Growth's strategy of being able to separate your company and uplist. So stay tuned on Thursday, especially for Canopy Growth, because I think the world's going to wake up. Take care. Have a nice week.